Hey, welcome everyone to another hour of scaring the hose virtually. Something a lot of you are familiar with anyway. Nah, just kidding. None of you have hose. I don't know why I say that. I'm 35. People, what a weekend I've had, but what a weekend you may have had, because guess what? Your social security number is not yours anymore. It's our social security number now. It's ours. We get to share it. Isn't that fun? Now I get to buy the Google Play cards with your identity on your behalf, regardless of if you need it or not. Yeah, big hack. I don't know how many days ago it was, but yeah, a bunch of social security numbers got hacked. But at this point, who cares? Identity theft me, brother. Have you seen inflation? What type of line of credit are you going to get with my social? That's not a challenge. Achoo. Sorry, I'm interrupted for some reason as I'm mid-thought here. Not to be all whatever, but you want to talk about shitty reporting. The LA Times reported that a hacking group, the US DOD, did this. And according to Bleeping Computer, it was actually a singular user. So here's what's actually crazy about the social security hack. So the claim is 2.9 billion people. That's the amount of records that this hacker collected. And he collected it from National Public Data, which is a background check company. So isn't that awesome? The company that does background checks cannot securely store your information. That's good to know, right? So, JK, I'm mischaracterizing this 1,000,000%. No, National Public Data, they scrape for information from non-public sources to carry out background checks. So they themselves don't store the data. I think. If I'm wrong about that, it doesn't matter because they have your social anyway. Like, why am I finessing the details? That's not even the most interesting part. I looked into it because, obviously I don't want my social security number to be hacked. I didn't end up checking for mine. I'm just going to pray. I'm just going to cross my fingers and hope. That's the best form of security, is God. When you browsed porn back in the day, you didn't know about antivirus software. You didn't know any of that. You just downloaded from BearShare, LimeWire, Kazaa, and you just prayed to God. You're like, Lord, please don't make the computer slower so daddy doesn't hit me. And then you'd have your 2 minutes of fun, and you put your little e-jack into your hand and then throw it in the garbage can, and then go play StarCraft on dial-up internet. So that's just from me to you, just a little bit of Jesus. That's all you need when you're browsing. Just a little bit of God. No, that won't protect you at all. Yeah, so this first person, when they leaked the data, they offered it for $3.5 million, okay? 2.9 billion records worth of people for $3.5 million, which is fucking cheap. That price should stink to you. You know what that's like? That's like when, that's like if you've dated someone for a long time and they're like, when you get home, I'm going to put this in a hetero context. When you get home, I'm going to suck your dick. And you're like, why? We've been together for 20 years. Why are you inspired to give me that good brain? And she's like, don't even worry about it. When you get home, I'm going to suck your shit so hard. And you didn't do anything to deserve it. It's just being volunteered to you. You should be very skeptical. 2.9 billion worth of people of social security numbers, and you're offering it for $3.5 million. Something fishy about that price. Now, it could be like one of those things, there was a kid recently who posted that he stole like a Pagani, and he was offering it for 30 grand because the risk is so high to have that type of information that would be dangerous. So you can't really ask for much. But still, capitalism applies. If you got that good, it should be priced accordingly, because at $3.5 million, that price, PU, stinky. Smells like a boy's locker room. Why so cheap? Well, what's great is this hacker, I think, the name started with an F. Let me see if I can look it up. He comes out, because this data was collected in April. So when everyone was like, hee, April Fools, who's the April Fool? Not me. I'm looking at your social security number. Venice. It's like Venice, but with an F. Venice. A user named Venice shared the database for free. So they undercut that $3.5 million price for $0.99, and they posted it to a forum. And on that post, the person says, "I have even more bigger database." Excuse me, I'm dyslexic and I missed the A. But still, I have a even more bigger database. Sounds kind of Italian, no? I have a even more bigger database. To share that's not related to NPD, wait for the next chapter. So if that isn't ominous, I don't know. But then when you dig a little deeper, they were finding that even though there's 2.9 billion records, people were checking their emails against the information that they had, because they had emails, first names, addresses. And what they were finding is in the records, people were looking up their emails and things didn't match, or there were multiple records associated with their email, because I think email was the leading identifier. And so for $3.5 million, in a hacker context, you could say this might have been some Reggie. This may have just been some weak-ass weed. Tried to sell you that shake for $3.5 million. But yeah, doesn't mean that you may not be at risk. There's a website, Have I Been Pwned? PWNED. You can look up to see if your email's been yinked. You got your ass beat. This weekend I was in Florida. I'll talk about that in the TMG bonus, but I finally got a chance to read my favorite book. It's amazing, man. I think my reading level has gone from 5th grade to 6th grade. I'm starting to recognize words better. I can pronounce words better. I'm reading a bit faster. When there's a lot of big words in a sentence, I can absorb the information right away. Never mind technology. Let me just park for a second. And dude, I was having this as I'm reading this book, because I've taken an interest in Magic the Gathering, but even that's a good way to find out if your friend can read or not. Because when I play Magic the Gathering, I realize my literacy rate and my reading comprehension skills. Never mind a SAT test. I'll read Magic cards and go, "Oh shit, I'm like stupid. I'm like dumb." And I was reflecting on all the years of elementary and junior high and high school that I was tasked with reading. And I think I could put forward the argument that I did not know how to read. I could read words, but the information, it just didn't. And so I've just been sitting wondering, damn, have I gone? I think I've gone 33 years without being able to actually read. I read Moby Dick in high school, and I really tried. I gave it my best effort, but man, because that was like senior year of high school, and I think my reading level was second grade. So to task me with 700 pages of reading, I mean, that was just crazy in and of itself. So I get back to reading my book, and it sucks being my age now and actually knowing how to read. Because I think about all the years where I could have read. I could have read better. There were things I could have read and enjoyed, but I just didn't know. I think about all the literature that's passed in front of my eyes that never stuck because I'm like, reading comprehension, fucking 0. I think that's what I scored on my SAT. I think it was just straight up 0. It's pretty wild to read shit and not remember any of it. And I just need to know if that was me or if that's some of you as well. It would make me feel better. It would make me feel better if a lot of you were mostly illiterate or had like no ability to retain information. That would make me feel better because then that informs me that I don't have to get anything right on this show. I can literally make it all up and we'd be good. So yeah, I'm reading my book, Surveillance Capitalism, and it's comical the amount of brain power it takes me to read 15 pages of this book. It takes some fucking focus. I gotta be. Now, granted, I do read these chapters on airplanes, no headphones, no nothing. So there's a lot of interference as I'm reading this text. Okay. The lady next to me, as I'm reading this morning on my way back home, she gets up, mind you, barefoot, and she's gonna go to the bathroom, and already knowing that she's gonna walk in that nasty ass American Airlines bathroom barefoot, I just can't get that out of my mind because it's so nasty. And she's in such a hurry that she doesn't wait for me to get up. She just like walks in front of me, and to balance herself, she puts her hand on my thigh. And she's doing this multiple times during my reading and eventually my sleep. It's the craziest shit I've ever observed. She's walking around with pee-pee feet on the plane. And I know that because I went in there and, I uncorked the sprinkler. When you're taking a 9 a.m. whiz, fellas, pee doesn't go straight. I'm pissing like DNA helixes. My piss is doing double Dutch into the toilet. I know men have talked about this at length, but goddamn. Krishna, Muhammad, Jesus, whoever, why is it like that? I have some like remarkable piss memories. I don't know if they're unique to me. I took a whiz one time and it was 4 individual streams coming out of the front of my dick, like someone stabbed the front of my dick with a fork. That pee went off. I'm like, I'm surely sick. I have 4x syphilis. I have 4 times the syphilis. Is that how I'm peeing like this? So anyways, I got pee-pee feet lady next to me. I got the flight attendants moving up and down the row, talking to these cranky business class people. It's amazing how entitled business class people are. They'll be yelling at a flight attendant going, I ordered my frittata before this flight. Man, all that food is cancer. Just eat it. Eat it and die. Also, the people who are closest to dying compare the most about their food. It don't fucking matter what you're going to eat. You're out of here in 5 years. Eat your Delta Biscoff cookie and die somewhere, okay? Make way. Make way. So yeah, I got pee-pee feet lady next to me. I got angry frittata people next to me. But I still try to focus on the text. on 5 hours of sleep. I'm focused on the text. And I'm at a part of the book where, because I yapped about the whole Google thing last week, and I'm assuming you listened to that. But, now the book is through this section where it details, I think, Larry Page, I don't know, one of the Google CEOs, he basically many, many years ago says something to the tune of like, your whole life will be searchable. I think those were the words he used. And he always had that goal. Your whole life will be searchable. And this part of the book kind of talks about how the preceding years politically it like paved the way for Google to become what it is now. And the interesting parts about that, number one, is Google was able to act with impunity. So nothing could stop them. And they knew this. And this was all kind of predicated on previous law being interpreted in a way where they don't want government interference with technology and corporations, because, some of the guys working at Google, they were of the opinion, I forget which one of them, but he goes, tech companies are 3 times ahead and governments tend to be 3 times behind. So we have like a 9x gap between us, and they shouldn't be involved. But kind of like the preceding decade or political climate was hard up on, governments impede on innovation and governments should not block expression. It's all about freedom. And it kind of taps into this really interesting argument that corporations have used for a long time now. And I'm learning more about this. So this part I can't really evidence, but corporations will use free speech specifically as a shelter for whatever they're doing. And they will interpret free speech as like freedom of expression. And that's how they block, legislation to prevent, let's say, a technology company from developing something really fucking insane. And they go, no, this falls under freedom of speech. You can't do this. This is not non-constitutional. And so kind of like I was saying last episode, it delves a bit deeper into, it really underscores the impunity that Google was able to act with. And I use that word because that's really what it is. Like, when you kind of process the amount of apps and the amount of technology that you've used and all the end user agreements that you've agreed to just blindly, you've never in your life until now they're like, let's ban porn. And I think this was something that was proposed, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. And that was considered, oh no, like that you're kind of preventing like expression. I think that was the philosophical argument at the time. I don't know if any legislation was ever put forward, but I think it may have been discussed, like, oh, maybe we should ban porn and we should kind of regulate the internet. And it was like just a violent recoil to that. Absolutely not. And, Google was definitely behind that. But when you think about everything we've ever used on the internet and technology-wise and everything we've just said, like, yeah, sure, it's largely been because, the internet is mostly a lawless place. There isn't really a ton of legislation that's modern to guide and govern what we're doing, which, I'm not sitting here being like, we should have a driver's license to go on the internet. But you see people joke about that now. You see people say, oh, not everyone should have access to the internet. There should be a license to use the internet. People make those jokes. And I think that's kind of how it starts before people kind of jump the shark and they go, no, we should license this. I'm generalizing a bit here, but that's besides the point. Hey everyone, I want to take a quick break to thank a sponsor of today's episode, DraftKings. In a world of slot reels and blackjack deals comes the must-play event of the summer from DraftKings Casino. Featuring nonstop action and an all-star cast of games, including A-lister Loki's Luck. This summer blockbuster is one you won't want to miss. Plus, new players can get $100 instantly in casino credits with just a $1 wager. And all players get a blockbuster bonus every week. So sign up with code COMPANY and grab your popcorn. It's showtime on DraftKings Casino. You got a gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 887-897-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. 21 plus. Physically present in Connecticut, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia only. Void in Ontario. Womp womp. Eligibility and other restrictions apply. New customers only. $1 wager to earn $100 in non-withdrawable casino credits that expire in 168 hours. Terms at casino.draftkings.com/blockbuster. Hey everyone, we want to take another quick break to thank a sponsor of today's episode, Shopify. What's the easiest choice you can make? P standing up? P sitting down while browsing the phone? I think I'm going to sit down and browse the phone. But what about selling with Shopify? That is pretty easy. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to, did we just hit 1 million orders stage? Shopify's there to help you grow. Whatever you're selling, Shopify helps you sell everywhere, from their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify has got you covered. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers. With the internet's best converting checkout, up to 36% better compared to other leading commerce platforms. And sell more with less effort, thanks to Shopify Magic, their AI tool designed to help you succeed online. Listen, early in my career, I used Shopify many times to sell merch. All my peers have used Shopify to launch their merchandising businesses, which have expanded into other businesses. Shopify is a great tool to get your business going and can be the launch pad for a successful e-commerce career. Speaking of e-commerce, Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. Plus, Shopify's extensive help resources are there to support you because businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/companylot, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/companylot now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/companylot. Cha-ching. And so in the book, they're kind of like equating Google to like the Gilded Era of America, where like robber barons kind of like ran the country, and they would rob and steal, and they promoted like, essentially like a competitive market, and they would fleece politicians and successfully like deplatform politicians that maybe would have tried to protect people more, blah, 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 blah. All this to say, Google only exists because they were able to like circumvent a lot of legislation, and a lot of that legislation around human data. And a point in the book that I liked was this sort of like rinsing of the term of like the human experience. The author writes, like the human experience was kind of reframed as behavior. And that's how technologists would speak about it. Like, it's behavior and we're tracking behavior, but it's not really. It's like, it's what your interests are. It's what the things you want to watch, the things you're curious about, stuff you need help with, So then I started thinking, which I don't think this is a genius thought exercise by any means, but I was thinking, imagine how different things would be if like some swift legislation came through 20 years ago when like the .com bubble was like doing its thing. If some clairvoyant Supreme Court person was like, actually, no, this is going to infringe on the human, the right to like human existence and the human condition, and you cannot collect data. Not a single app in your phone would have, with the exception of a few, would have a viable way to exist. It's this weird thing where, and maybe someone else can speak to this, but it just had me thinking that it seems the only way we were ever going to get technology the way we have it now was only if corporations could study every single aspect of your life. Like that was the exchange. Unless we were willing to give that up, we would not be able to have technology in the capacity that we have it now. Could you imagine if, because of law, it took us like 20 years to get the Motorola Razr? Like you think about memes, you think about the jokes we make, our whole culture. Maybe that would have been good because it would have been a slow drip IV of all the fun. But it was unregulated for the last 20, 25 years, 30 years. It was unregulated. So I think we just speed ran society. And then now we're here at this like brain, we got to brain rot faster, which in another respect, I'm happy I'm alive for brain rot. And I'm happy I'm alive for kind of this like meltdown in humor that I barely understand. I'm not going to sit here and act like it's really super relevant to me. But yeah, I was just, having a dumb person's thought on the plane. Like, man, what if technology wasn't as good? That's basically what I'm saying. Man, what if the technology wasn't as good? Wow, genius plays. Yeah. Then I kind of spiraled out of that, and I was thinking, bro, when people get opinionated about anything online, it doesn't matter, but specifically with TikTok, when people vocalize their feelings about something, it just started, I was really sitting there processing, and it freaked me out in a way that there's a server that's like collecting each person's like opinions and then the things they comment on and then the things they interact with, and like they can virtually reconstruct you off of like just a simple search. Like they can just look you up by user and they go, oh yeah, in the last 90 days, they've been very vocal about these subjects and they interact with these types of people, and they can just start to like build webs and figure out communities. Like it freaks me out when I go on TikTok and I see two people arguing and they have each other blocked, but the algorithm knows that you're interested in each other's reply. It just made me think like, man, they're really dog walking us through experiences. The way they're like a social media company can just kind of connect the dots so easily now. And whether they don't even have to make you pick a side on a subject, they just have to feed you the information, and then you're, have at it, and they can tell what you feel. And it got me thinking, Apple, I think, doesn't allow certain information, but eventually, someone will get to track your facial reactions to shit. And that's going to be weird when an algorithm can when you can look at your phone and something plays on your phone and you go, ugh, and then it knows to not show you that type of content or show you more of that content. And what's funny is, even as I say this, this is not even like a in the future thing. This is just a matter of who and when. And how do you stop it? I think you got to tribute your FBI agent in real time. I think that's the only thing you can do. I think you got to set up your phone and you look to your front-facing camera and you're like, Agent Murphy, hi. I just want to let you know I love you. And then you just all over that front-facing camera. God bless you if you're a sprinkler down there. God bless you if you're a gusher. Gush that agent. I think that's the only way to get the tracking off of us, is just to be so depraved that they stop. That's my solution. I think we got to be so disgusting privately to the camera that Facebook, all these people, they have no idea if we're real anymore. Like, they just get so freaked out by who we are, I mean, you got to go all in. Every morning, you got to talk to your front-facing camera, put a little poop in your hand, smear it across the front, tell it you love it, stuff like that. You got to really freak them out. Nah, but the other thing that kind of piqued my curiosity is, it seems everyone who's gotten rich made something, like they made money off of something that could not be regulated. That seems to be the theme. And in the book they study this, and they were saying, yeah, that's like sorry, this is not related, but in the book they there's like a study put forward where they find over the last like 20 years or something, or 30 years, in terms of legal precedents, I think, like companies use free speech as the shelter. That's not really the same point I'm trying to make, but yeah, it just seems everyone, like, workout supplements, there's no real regulation for that. Even microplastics, like, they probably knew about that. And they probably knew, hey, we're going to put plastic in people's balls. And they go, yeah, whatever. Which, by the way, it made me think, if you consumed enough microplastic, could you end up just nutting out like a single Lego? Like the little tiny square Lego. Obviously, it wouldn't be like that, because that'd feel horrible. But it just made me think, if you got enough, are we gonna start? Are men gonna start jizzing like? This is such a foul episode, but are we gonna start jizzing like 3D printers? Is it gonna take like 8 hours to make a little jizz? Guys, like we may take it for granted, the rope that we can make. Ladies, I know when you're laying there and he's like, let me go get a towel. Tell him, wait a second. No, this is a good one. It's watery. It may not be like this in the future. Men might have to 3D print the baby in the future. They might have to sit there over days and 3D print the baby, just going back and forth, making the layers. And it won't be baby form yet. It'll be the raw material. It'll be the raw life. You can imagine it. It's just like it's like a giant egg almost of 3D printed life-making power. And then the lady has to ingest, and then it gets absorbed, and then it like bakes and cooks, and then even then the baby's not real. When it comes out, it's just like it's like a hard plastic. It looks like a glass blown bong. It's just like, it's got like color swirls, and it's beautiful, and it comes out, and we have to build like other science to actually convert it to a living human thing, because before we know it, I mean, fellas, we're just gonna be printing Lego. That's all that's gonna come out of there. I think the goal of this experience is to make me schizophrenic. I think that's kind of what I'm trying to do. I'm just making sure I got. Oh yeah, sorry. Let me just talk about one more boring thing, because I found this to be pretty interesting too. In all this, right? Like when corporations and like tech companies, they collect data and stuff. They do this because I believe legally the responsibility is put on the corporation to observe itself. Like a tech company is responsible for adhering to its guidelines, which is crazy. You know? That's like when you work in food service and someone's rude to you in the drive-thru and you take their McChicken patty and you slam it on the ground and then you pick it up and you put it in the sandwich. And then the manager comes in and they're like, hey, this guy at the front is saying one of you spiked his chicken McPatty on the floor. You didn't do that, did you? And he's saying it with a wry smile. And you, the employee, are going, what? Bro, I would never. And then you both smile and you dap each other up like in Twisters. When they do the little, you know, hey, I'm about to get the bet, you know? Remember that? It's just crazy. And in addition to that, there was like some act passed in 1996 that absolves like an internet or I think it's like a website. It absolves a website from legal responsibility for their users. So Twitter or any of these places, they don't have any legal obligation to moderate. It's a choice. And I think there's something about like the more moderation you implement, the more legally responsible you become for what happens on the platform. So there is, I think, if I'm understanding this correctly, I think there's like legal motivation to never moderate or to not really deal with moderation because it's like it costs less, and you know, the corporation's not trying to pay any money. So I found that to be interesting too, where there's nothing that tells a company like, hey, you got to make sure shit is chill. There's actually nothing in law that requires them to make sure things are cool. You have to want to make the vibe cool. And chill vibes are typically not associated with high revenue. It's typically bad vibes associated with a lot of revenue. So, yeah. I did want to say earlier, you know, the amount of Social Security information leaked, it was 277 gigs. And my first thought when I read that was that's 2.7 Drake's. Because Drake uploaded that 100 gigs of shit. What a way to try to circumvent that whole... Kendrick called me a what? Well, guess what? I'm leaking 100 gigs of what, player? What a guy. Obviously, we've all made that joke for weeks now, but I feel like that one just kind of just skipped by. Drake leaks 100 gigs. Oh, bro. Anyway. Speaking of Disney killing people. Oh, man. Disney wants a wrongful death lawsuit thrown out because the plaintiff had Disney Plus. This is so hysterically evil. I think you know about this by now, but if you don't, I'm just going to get you caught up. So, after a doctor suffered a fatal allergic reaction at a Disney World restaurant, Disney is trying to get her widower's wrongful death lawsuit tossed out by pointing to the fine print of a Disney Plus trial he signed up for years earlier. Brother, cousin. Speaking of impunity, speaking of ruling without, man, I didn't even intend for this. Jeffrey Piccolo is representing the estate of his late wife, a doctor at New York's NYU Langone Hospital, who died of an allergic reaction while visiting the Florida resort in October. The couple, along with Piccolo's mother, went to dinner on the night of October 5th at Rangland Road Irish Pub. The wife was highly allergic to dairy and nuts, and they chose that particular restaurant in part because of its promises about accommodating patrons with food allergies, according to the lawsuit filed in a Florida circuit court. The complaint details the family's repeated conversations with their waiter about the wife's allergies. The family allegedly raised the issue up front, inquired about the safety of specific menu items, had the server confirm with the chef that they could be made allergen-free, and asked for confirmation several more times after that. When the waiter returned with the food, some of the items did not have allergen-free flags in them, and the wife and husband once again questioned the waiter, who once again guaranteed the food being delivered was allergen-free. The three of them ate and then went their separate ways. Piccolo brought the leftovers to the room while his wife and mother headed for the stores. After about 45 minutes, the wife began having severe difficulty breathing and collapsed to the floor. She self-administered an EpiPen, Revive, and an observer called 911. First off, I have an EpiPen because I got some allergies. And it's always so funny to me when I eat somewhere and I'm thinking I'm going to have to Call of Duty revive myself. Like, because from what I understand, when you jab the EpiPen, it can't be like a little... You gotta ram it in there. You gotta find the spot and just go for gold. And sometimes I've been tempted to just eat something that could maybe kill me to find out if I have the strength under duress. Could I get it done? Oh shit. See that? Felt that right there? That's power. Anyways, the Piccolos, who had tried to call her multiple times, were eventually told she had been rushed to the hospital. They went to meet her, and after a period of waiting, were told that she had passed. Medical examiner determined it was anaphylaxis due to the elevated levels of dairy and nut in her system. All right, so Piccolo, the husband, files suit against the pub and Walt Disney Parks and Resorts. He accuses both of them of negligence, preparing the food. Okay. He wants $50,000 in damages and trial by jury on all issues so triable. $50K? Disney's wiping its ass with $50K. You killed his wife. At least give him the money. I wonder how that waiter and that chef feel. I wonder if that was one of those, Waiting. That movie Waiting. I wonder if that was one of those waiting moments where they're like, yeah, table 14, she's got a nut allergy. Oh, yeah, everyone's got a nut allergy. Send it to her. It's good? Yeah, it's good. Anyway, $50,000 for my dead wife. Bro, if I'm his wife, I'm pissed. It's like, that's all I'm worth to you? $50,000? Try harder. I thought this was love. Anyway. Hey, everyone. We want to take another quick break to thank a sponsor of today's episode, Mando. Managing and worrying about body odor used to take up a lot of my time because trust me, I'm a stinky, stinky boy. Actually, that's not it. When I apply deodorant, I like to go forehead to toe. I was using a lot of my time, making sure I smelt good, being paranoid about my smell. It was all extremely time consuming, but not anymore since I switched to Mando whole body deodorant. It's that effective and long lasting because Mando doesn't cover up odor after the fact with heavy fragrances. It stops odor at the source by blocking the bacteria on your skin from eating your sweat, which is the actual cause of BO. Which means Mando is clinically proven to control odor for up to 72 hours. New customers get $5 off Mando's best-selling starter pack with code LOT at shopmando.com. You know what I like about Mando? Like I said, I can go armpit to lower back. It's just I do stinky things. I like to kart, race karts. I like to run on my treadmill in construction boots and jeans with a long sleeve t-shirt. I just do various things. Bit slapstick, but sweaty. So Mando comes in when I need it most. Mando starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, because I know some of you like it mushy, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. Luckily, I have a discount code to help you get hooked on your next favorite smelling body deodorant, whole body deodorant, excuse me. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code LOT at shopmando.com, shopmando.com. Buenas noches, muchachos. I want to take a break to thank a sponsor of today's episode, Babbel. You like that intro? I know you did. What's the best way to learn a language? For me, it's playing a local pickup game of soccer and getting cussed at. That might qualify as immersion. But traditionally, immersion is living where the language is spoken and used every day. But if that's not possible for you, you can still learn a second language the best way, and that's with Babbel. Be a better you in 2024 with Babbel, the science-backed language learning app that actually works. Don't pay hundreds of dollars for private tutors or waste hours on apps that don't really help you speak the language. Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons are handcrafted by over 200 language experts to help you start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. Babbel's designed by real people for real conversations. Babbel's tips and tools are approachable, accessible, rooted in real-life situations, and delivered with conversation-based teaching so you're ready to practice what you've learned in the real world. Babbel has been massively helpful to myself. I do like to do a bit of travel. I don't splurge much, but when I do, I like to take me to a foreign place. Babbel's helped me learn languages to just kind of get around, learn the basics. Hello, where's the bathroom? Do you have this? What's your favorite dish on the, those types of things. And another perk about Babbel, studies from Yale, Michigan State University, and others continue to prove that Babbel is better. One study found that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a full semester at college. Babbel has over 16 million subscriptions sold, plus all of Babbel's 14 award-winning language courses are backed by their 20-day money-back guarantee. And here's a special limited time deal for you guys. Right now, if you sign up, you'll get 60% off your Babbel subscription, but only for our listeners. So go to babbel.com/company. Get up to 60% off at babbel.com/company, spelled BABBEL.com/company. Rules and restrictions may apply. Disney says the case should be handled out of court because Piccolo created a streaming account. This is fucking juicy. Neither Disney Parks nor its lawyer responded to requests for comment. However, they have fought back. In late May, Disney's lawyers filed a motion asking the circuit court to order Piccolo to arbitrate the case with them and a neutral third party in private, as opposed to publicly in court, and to pause legal proceedings. Arbitration is generally considered a more efficient and cost-efficient method. Okay, why avoid all this? Because of a clause in the terms and conditions that the husband signed off on when he created a Disney Plus account for a month-long trial in 2019. Those terms of use, which users must acknowledge to create an account, state that any dispute between you and us being Disneyland, except for small claims, is subject to a class action waiver and must be resolved by individual binding arbitration. So everyone with a Disney Plus account, you should not ride a roller coaster there. That's awesome. You can't ever go into Disneyland, dude. Did you want to watch the new Star Wars animated series? Cool. Just know that we can kill your kids on accident. You might pay for the next for the next Disney Plus title in blood. That might be the actual cost. Holy shit. All these people looking to hire hitmen, man, look no further than Disneyland. Sign up for the account and have them put peanuts in her ice cream. That is absurd. Disney says Piccolo agreed to similar language again when purchasing park tickets online. Whether he actually read the fine print at any point, it adds, is immaterial. Holy fucking shit. Oh man, that's so hardcore for Disney to be like, hey man, you knew what it was when you came in here. You knew what it was. That's so wild for a lawyer to be in court going, man, you knew your lady couldn't handle a peanut. You knew there was food in here, motherfucker. You know what it was when you stepped through the door. She could have got it any time. You know how many peanuts we got in this place? You knew what it was. You're a bad husband. If you loved your wife, you should have never got that Disney Plus trial, you stupid motherfucker. Now look what you did. Look at you. Stupid. Piccolo ignores that he previously created a Disney account and agreed to arbitrate all disputes against the Walt Disney Company or its affiliates arising in contract, tort, warranty, statute, regulation, or other legal and equitable basis, blah, blah, blah. So obviously this guy's not getting his wife back. Imagine they offer that. They're like, hey, man, how about instead of the money, we get you with the Imagineers here and we build you something close. Would that suffice? What if we get you an alpha version of your wife? It won't necessarily be her personality, but it'll be her likeness, her voice. She'll look pretty real. You've written Pirates of the Caribbean, right? We can get pretty close to that. We got some decommissioned ladies from that ride. I'm sure the Imagineers at Disney could whip something up for you. Then give us a couple years. Have you ridden the new Millennium Falcon ride? Right, the animatronics a little bit better there. We can get you something like that in about 5 years. What if we just agree over a 10-year process, we try to recreate your wife and we give you a season pass every year? It'll be one of those grandfather season passes, one of those ones that actually gets you in the park, not like limited days or anything. Huh? Plus, I'm sure we could find you someone in the Disney network that can eat a peanut. What do you say about that? No, that's crazy, man. That is so powerful. That makes you wonder what you signed up for. What if you died during a Mr. Beast challenge and they're like, you signed up for Peacock. You wanted to watch the Olympics ad-free. That was your mistake. You have no recourse here. NBC has 10% ownership of Mr. Beast. Yeah. So wild, man. So wild. This episode is sponsored by Corn Nuts. Well, yeah, I think that might do it. Apparently apparently China's created a robot dog that will aid the blind. Which is awesome because you can just tune that thing to walk into traffic and hello, grandma's estate. All right, everybody. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.